Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. If you would like to support this channel, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Run the Register. Some years back, I was the general manager of a large RV dealer. I also acted as sales manager, so I approved all deals. My parts manager often came in wearing inappropriate clothes despite being warned. On this particular day, the owner saw the parts manager and was fed up. He told me to fix it. As I had warned him several times, this time I sent him home. We had someone else work the store, so no issue, until the owner comes back. Where's the parts manager? You told me to deal with it, so I did by sending him home. The owner was upset. Told me I had to run the register since I messed up. Okay. It was a busy Saturday and we had lots of buyers. As mentioned, I approved all deals but was relegated to cashier duty. We lost at least 5 or 6 sales that day. The owner comes back at closing time to lick his chops on juicy sales. But there were 0. He said, "Why didn't you approve the deals?" I said I worked the station you ordered me to, and I was quite busy. I thought you were handling sales today. He didn't. The next story is called Bad Attitude. Most jobs I've worked skip lunch at work every now and again to make sure that things get done. There's no point in getting petty over a few minutes here or there, right? One previous manager was a bit blind to my short lunches or long days, but really doubled down on my start times. I was 6 minutes late because of an unexpected traffic jam. Supervisor didn't like this at all. I got called to his desk and told, "We start at 9 AM, not 9:06 AM. I'm easygoing, and despite not liking being talked down to, would have forgotten about this as he was technically correct. The best kind of correct. The next week, he decided it would be a good idea for me to work late, 5 minutes each day, because this change to process, he wrote, would stop last-minute customers from being inconvenienced. I told him, "We finish at 5 PM, not 5:05 PM. He didn't like this at all and told me I had a bad attitude. When I asked him how this was any different from his attitude to getting in early, he told me he was the boss and that's why. What really set him off was asking him to please put the new process that involved me staying late in an email. For some reason, possibly because he knew I'd be forwarding it to HR, this didn't happen. So I began to work until 5 PM with a full lunch every day. The third story is called Return to the Office. The higher-ups want us back in the office. It's extremely unpopular and is being met with a lot of pushback. No one, not me, not my boss, not my boss's boss, have been complying. So there's this huge conference call where HR is going fire and brimstone on us. If we don't go in, we show up on this report, which with enough occurrences could lead to disciplinary action and termination. A friend of mine is a bit higher up than I am. He tells me they are monitoring this through badge swipes. They came up with some arbitrary number of swipes a person needs to make in order for them to be considered in office. Oh, okay. I work as a fraud analyst for a massive bank. You need to swipe your badge every time you go to a different floor, as well as enter and leave the building. But the report isn't based on dates or times, only badge swipes. So I go into the office one day and swipe my badge. But, oh no, that coffee went right through me, so I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, but it's on the other side of the floor. Better cut through the elevators and swipe my badge to get there quicker. Oh, I'm out of water. Gotta go 2 floors down and swipe my badge to grab water. And then I had to use the restroom again. Then lunch. Then someone on another floor needed to speak with me. Then I needed to return a cable I borrowed, but that person was away from his desk. And so on and so forth. This went on for most of the day. I'm required to be in the office 2 to 3 days a week, every week. I'm the only person on the report that's been in 4 days a week for my team since January. I've been in the office twice. The next story is called All the Dogs. In the mid-2000s, I was a business development officer for an Asia-based commercial bank in the US. Getting deals booked required the usual internal sales versus credit fight. I wanted to build book per lending guidelines, and credit always boo-hooed every potential deal. I tried to get along with that team, until the bank brought a new head of credit. Turns out she got her previous bank, a huge Asian bank, fined $50 million for booking crap deals by US banking authorities and placed under other restrictions. So she wanted her claws on everything, currently on or about to be booked into the portfolio. Prior to her reign of madness, sales and credit had access to a shared folder that contains subfolders of all active, completed, or pending new deals and their respective documentation. She had her team go through everything to report issues, if any. None really at that time. Namely, those booked already and those closed to see if there were mistakes to learn from. I get her point of view, and could only laugh when her team grabbed to me on the sidelines. I managed my folder in the impending folder, as I worked on a slew of active new and secondary market deals, prior to moving book to the active folder. We didn't hit it off well, as she questioned why I had so many deals ongoing, and why she wasn't clued in to what I was doing, and that we needed her not to proceed. I don't work for her, and my boss was upset, as it seemed as if she wanted to merge BD under her control. We complained to the general manager, who sorta shrugged and said that she wasn't wrong and tried to protect the bank, giving her 50 million oops elsewhere. Fine. Each deal's documents, and there were a lot of documents, made each deal folder come in around 15 to 25 megabytes. So I blasted her and her team each folder one at a time, including those under consideration. Also included the GM. I jammed up the Outlook inbox for weeks, which delayed new business, to the point that the GM told her she's clogging up the servers. IT complained about storage overload. Mind you, that disk drives were kinda expensive back then, and that she is flatlining his business growth. Head office questioned his deal fall-off. She fought to keep this madness for 6 months. The other BDOs did the same as I. We kept at it until the GM shut her down. During that time, she lost 2 analysts and couldn't replace them for over a year. She ended to a lot of the work herself, since the remaining analysts were a bit too junior for her tastes. Ask for trouble, and thou shalt receive. The last story is called Remove It All. I lived with my boyfriend. The house in question was our first place together that we'd been in for 5 years. It was the only place we could afford and wasn't the most aesthetic when we moved in. It's shaped like a shipping container and not much bigger than one. Plus, it's surrounded on 3 sides by 2+ story homes, and on the remaining side there is a parking lot for all of the homes, which opens onto a major road. In the backyard there was a tiny shed that fits a stacked washer and dryer. It was otherwise a thin strip of dirt the length of the home, boxed in by the shed and the privacy fences of the other homes. Our yard itself was not fenced in. We had to use the front door and walk around the home, then through the parking lot to access the laundry shed/yard. No back door. The original landlord was very receptive to us making improvements to the house. We painted, we finished the cabinets, tiled the bathroom, etc. In the backyard I built raised garden beds and installed a small pond and bird fountain, as well as other landscaping, so that it became a bit of an unexpected oasis. We had an outdoor table and chairs, so we could sit out there in the morning and share a cup of tea. The original landlord sold the home, and our lease was transferred to the new owner. We had plans already in the works to purchase our first home together, so we only intended to stay until the end of the lease anyway, and figured it shouldn't affect us too much. Almost immediately, the new landlord began to harass us nearly daily, often about issues entirely out of our control, such as cars being parked in a lot sideways. Cars which were first of all our neighbor's cars and were merely slightly crooked, certainly not sideways. Once he showed up at the front door at 8:30 PM on a Friday. We had 2 friends over to play board games and have dinner, and he asked, "Are you going to wind up the party anytime soon, boys? Because people are going to get the wrong idea, you know?" We did our best to appease the landlord for the remaining months, but it became extremely grating, and honestly made me feel like I was being watched constantly. The finest straw was when a technician came to fix the washing machine in the shed, and the landlord noticed the table and chairs in the backyard. We received an email that evening, telling us, in all caps, to remove all modifications of the yard. No patio furniture is permitted. Mind you, this isn't even visible from the road, but whatever. So I responded, just to be sure. Apologies for the mistake. To confirm, you would like us to remove all modifications we have personally made to the yard since our move-in date? The answer? Yes. Remove immediately at the soonest convenience. You got it, Chief. We were just about in our final month of the lease and preparing to move to our new home. Obviously, I had planned to leave the raised beds, plants and an empty pond behind, but I decided I would revert the place to a dirt strip out of spite. So that's what I did. I collected my bird fountain, my fish, the flower bulbs and other plants. I even took the dirt I purchased for the raised beds to our new home. We filled in the pond and removed all the grass, so it was one sad strip of dirt again. The landlord was extremely angry to find the yard in that state. He was threatening to sue us for destruction of property because we ruined his pond. He tried to keep our security deposit, and he did take us to small claims court over the damage. However, we were diligent when we moved in and had photos of the original yard, plus the email instructing us to remove all modifications of the yard. He tried to say we had done other damage to the house, all of which was regular wear and tear after 5 years of occupancy, which any landlord should expect. Not to mention we got proof we left the place nicer than it was originally, which approval from the original landlord at the time redid the projects. I'm sure the judge saw through him immediately. He was quite rude and continued to interrupt her, to which she reprimanded him several times. That is to say, we got our security deposit back in full. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.